Hey everybody, welcome back to TTWM, Tinker Tractor Welder Mechanic, where we don't know what we're doing, but we try the best we can. Follow along with us today while we go get the first implement, the first new to us implement for our new excavator. You know, it's really hard to find stuff to buy nowadays, so you kind of take what you can get. I found this little 42-inch Bushmaster galvanized rotary cutter used at a Kubota dealership close to the house, so I figured I'd jump on it. Doesn't look like it's in bad shape, doesn't look like it's been used that much, so I figured I'd go ahead and jump on it. Got a nice little guard here. The blades, you know, yeah, they'll need some sharpening, but that's not anything that we can't handle around here. Like how it's galvanized, it doesn't really rust, so that's pretty cool. But I think it'll do pretty good for what we need to do with it. That'll be good enough to get it off the truck anyway. Let's try a little more jiggling. That's the fun with buying used equipment. Of course, when you look at it on the lot, everything fits perfectly. Then when you get it home on the machine, you've got to drive pins and stuff. It never fails. Since it's a used machine, the connections are a little dirty. So go ahead and very scientifically clean it with your shirt so you can be assured of a clean, trouble-free connection. That's always the best. Then you can see the biggest thing is really this hose here. One hose has the wrap on it, this other hose doesn't. It's got some chafe spots, so we've bought some of this pigtail, some more of this spiral hose wrap to go ahead and prevent any further, any furthering of this chafing. We'll put that on in a little bit. We're just going to hook it up right now just to give it a spin. Depending on how the flow is set on the machine, I might have to switch these connections to make sure that it spins correctly. It's a lot of hose there. A lot of extra hose. Don't like having that much extra hose. we wound up with a lot of extra hose, so I don't know how bad that'll be. We'll just have to run it and see, but I feel like that's probably a little excessive. And again, you can see I've got the connections kind of crossed over. We'll run it, just spool it up and see maybe if I'm going to switch the connections. It's got a little bit of a leak here at this connection. You can see here it's been raining a little bit. You can see the water's kind of bubbling up here with the oil. So it was leaking right around here, possibly. So I'm thinking maybe I might get lucky and just be the O-ring. So I need to take this connection loose anyway, so we'll just flip. I'll inspect this fitting here that's on the motor, as well as this 90 here, and just see if I can figure out where the leak is coming from. Hopefully it'll be obvious and won't have to do anything with this connector. But now that we've got the hydraulics hooked up, let's give her a spin. The way that the auxiliary hydraulics on this machine work are you have controls here on the joystick, on the right hand joystick, and on the left hand joystick. You've also got triggers under each joystick. You can kind of see it right there and right here, the triggers. But you can see I'm manipulating both thumb switches and both triggers, and nothing's happening, right? What you have to do is you have to come down here on the control panel. You have to turn on your auxiliary hydraulics. And you can see the first auxiliary. This is Kubota's version of an 8-bit thumb. So you can see the little bucket, the thumb there, and the stick, and the thumb closes down, right? So when we do that with the right stick, the thumb operates, opens and closes. But then when we actuate the left thumb switch, nothing happens. So how do we run the mower, right? What you've got to do is you'll come down here, you'll hit the auxiliary button again, and again, this is Kubota's 8-bit image of a mower. You can go in and you can set the different flow rates for different settings and things like that in the menu. And maybe I'll make a video about that here later on, because it was kind of a confusing, the manual was very confusing on how to go about it. But now, and you can see this is setting 2 up here. This number in the left hand corner denotes it's setting 2. So now you can see my thumb works via the thumb switch. But now also let's see what happens with the thumb switch here. I'm going to go left and right. That's going to be momentary. So you can see that turned it on one way, but it doesn't turn it on the other way. You can see I'm hitting the right hand switch, but then I can turn it on holding it to the left and it'll still run. But as soon as I release my thumb, the mower stops. That's what the trigger's for here underneath the joystick. You'll hit that trigger and now the mower will run. So I'm not touching anything. So now the mower will run during all normal operation. So that's a really nice thing about the different auxiliary hydraulic options where you can program the different functions. All right, so Ms. Tink is going to go over there and do a walk around of the mower while I turn it on to see, one, just for my information, to make sure that I have the hydraulics set up in the correct ports to make sure that it's turning correctly. So again, we're going to actuate the momentary thumb switch. So that's the momentary thumb switch. It's just turning. As soon as I let go of it, now it's stopping. So obviously that's inconvenient if you're trying to mow all the time, or if you're trying to run the mower to mow a field, a pasture, a bank, a pond, dam, things like that. Now what we're going to do, we're going to actuate the trigger, the continuous flow trigger. So now again, I'm not touching anything at all except for just running the hydraulics to move the mower. We're going to simulate that we're doing something, still everything's running, and you can see that the motor is continuously running. Now also you can see that the hose is dragging the ground like crazy there on the right hand side of the stick, so something's definitely going to have to happen with that. What you can't see, however, is Mrs. Tink has just a terrible look on her face. She's scared to death to be out there in front of the mower. So we'll go ahead and turn it off. And obviously this is a don't try it at home, kids. You can see I'm doing a very high-tech way to tell how the mower is supposed to spin. And I'm saying this arrow because here are the blades, and you can see that this is the edge that's been worked so far. Obviously it's gonna need to be sharpened. It's seen a few rocks in its day. The mower has not been used that much, but the time that it has been used, it's seen some wear. So, but again, we'll make our arrows, because I'm not very smart. I need all the help I can get to determine direction of rotation, of appropriate rotation. All right, go ahead and hit it. That is incredibly terrifying, and it's also the wrong way. So you can see it's going the opposite way. I hope you can see that. But wow, that was terrifying. Ms. Tink told me, wow, that was really scary. I thought, oh yeah, of course it's scary. No, it is truly scary. It's terrifying. She was 100% correct. You can see here how badly that hose is just dragging the ground. Just dragging the ground. Just drag, drag, drag. We've got 3 good feet of hose that's just extra. It came with 10 feet, so I'm probably going to just have to shorten these hoses up. Now you can see it's turning the way that the connections are on the machine. I would have a couple options. I could either switch the connections on the tractor, I could switch the connections on the machine, or I could switch these hoses here. So because I've already got to come over here and look at this hose here, because this connection is leaking, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make it easy. I'm going to go ahead and undo this connection. I'm going to undo the connections down here at the motor and then flip these, so that then we're going to have a straight run from the stick down to the adjacent side, or down to the corresponding side of the motor. But we'll go ahead and set it down and call it installed for right now. But we're going to go through, we're going to look at a few other things. We're going to look at the hose wrap. We're going to probably paint up the rusted motor. We're going to try to look at the hydraulic oil leak there on the motor, things like that. If this is the kind of stuff that you like to see, if you want to see the mower in action, if you want to see tractor work, grapple work, anything to do with outdoor rural lifestyle like small engines, chainsaws, mechanic work, make sure you subscribe to us here at Tinker Tractor Welder Mechanic, TTWM. Have a great day.